When you bring it this morning. Sorry.
I really thought both of you were out.
I think it's late, but.
And maybe, I don't think this one, but I noticed there was next time we may be involved in this, I will recuse what was beautiful.
I guess we're ready. Karen, we ready yet? Had a journey coming through. Morning, brother. Morning, Mr. Horner. Get something to drink. All right.
That's been 68. I got the continuation. But your boss decides. Oh, I got the same set of questions, that's why.
I haven't even read it, to be honest with you. I gotta
Sorry, whack that thing. That's what I was waiting for.
Summer's coming.
I don't know about that.
Sure felt it on the front porch this morning.
Yeah.
Front line.
Good morning and welcome to the May 18, 2022 version of the Walton County Technical Review Committee meeting. Sorry, I hadn't had quite enough coffee this morning. I'd like to welcome everyone. This is an administrative meeting of the Walton County Planning Department, representing the County Commission. We're all friends and neighbors here. We all need to remain that by the end of the meeting. There may be some passionate opinions that are present. We look forward to your questions about technical compliance in this particular meeting. This is not a public hearing. It's an administrative meeting of the county. We appreciate your attendance and interest in our agenda today. And with that, we have one announcement this morning. We welcome John Elamond, representing DRMP, our new project review contractor. Do we have any other announcements this morning, Karen? Chris? With that, we'll consider the April 2022 TRC minutes. Do we have any adjustments to these minutes? Seeing none, could we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. We'll move right into project review, and I think we have a number of continuances here this morning, so we'll take those in the order of the agenda, I think. The first one, the Destin Land Connection, we have a request to table this project. It can come back when it's ready for review. Can we have a motion to table?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is tabled and can be re-advertised when it's resubmitted. Item number 3, the Northwest Florida Commerce Park at Woodlawn Conceptual PUD. We've got a request to continue this item to June 1st, 2022. Can we have a motion of the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Can we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed
Chairman,
likewise?
Since I see the RMP name in here, I would recuse myself.
Yes, sir, and thank you for mentioning that earlier. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Number 4, the Westonwood improvements. We have a request to continue to the same June 1st TRC meeting. Can we have a motion of the dais?
Vote.
We have a motion. Can we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Number 5, the Bishop Landing PUD. We have a request to continue to the same June 1st meeting. Can we have a motion of the dais?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to item number 6, the Lakeshore Subdivision. We have a similar request to continue to June 1st. Can we have a motion of the dais?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to item number 7, the K-Bar Small Scale Amendment. We previously had a request to continue. We've had a revised request to withdraw this particular application. Don't think we need a motion on that, do we? We'll just recognize that the K-Bar Small Scale Amendment has been formally withdrawn. Moving to item number 8, the Cypress Heights minor development. We have a request to continue to the June 15 TRC meeting. Can we have a motion at the dais?
So move. Go ahead. I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to number 9, the Osprey Pines Conceptual PUD. This is a request to continue to the June 15th TRC meeting. Can we have a motion at the dais?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to item number 10, similar request to continue to June 15th. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15th, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to item number 11, we have a request to continue to June 1st. Yes. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue the watercolor PUD amendment for beach ADA access to the June 1st TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Can we have a motion at the dais? Wait a
So
minute.
move.
We have a motion at the dais. I'm sorry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Moving to number 12, the Preserve Point, Washington, a request to continue to June 1st, 2022. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And now moving to number 13, the US 331 Apartments. We have a request to approve by final order for this major development. It's been reviewed by Stephen Shaw. Stephen, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, good morning. US 331 Apartments is a request to approve by final order. Project number MAJ 22-000007 is a major development order application submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of VCP Santa Rosa LLC, requesting to develop 260 multifamily units on 29 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in a zoning district of village mixed use in Town Center 1. The property is located in District 5 and can be identified by the parcel IDs in your staff report. If I could please have the staff report as well as, let me get to the loose number 13 public comment and the revised staff report as well that is also separate from your packet. If I could have those items entered into the record, please.
So enter.
Thank you. In speaking with the applicant, it appears that one of the outstanding comments from GIS has been resolved as of this morning, so there is yet another addition to the revised staff report. We have not received an updated engineering comment letter after the resubmittal, but it appears that all other staff comments have been addressed successfully. If you have any questions, I can answer them now.
Does public comment come in like this?
It came in an email. That was the attachment. I printed it out.
All right. We got a number of outstanding comments. Do we have a pending resubmittal on this, or?
Yeah, there are no outstanding comments other than what could exist with engineering. If you see in the updated staff report, those have been addressed, other than the engineering and the GIS, which has been resolved this morning.
Did you tell me these two engineering comments have been addressed?
No, we're still waiting on revised comments from engineering.
I guess we can hear from the applicant.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, I'm Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering. I will apologize for my voice. I don't have much today, but I'm not contagious, don't worry. We have responded to the comments. We had two from engineering, which we did resubmit and respond to. I think they're just waiting on Bill to reply with something. Those two comments were depth of parking spaces, which we addressed, and a right turn lane, which is part of the plan. And it is in our resubmittal. I believe we have addressed all of the other staff comments successfully, including GIS, which we got confirmation this morning that our road name was acceptable. I did go through the portal, and I did kind of go through the planning concerns public comment that came in, and I can address these if you would like me to. The first comment regarding public planning concerns was associated with the access points for the site. We actually have 3 proposed access points. We have one on 331, one that's on the south off of the road that goes to South Walton High School, and then we have a proposed future phase road that connects to the parcel to the north, which will be built in a second phase. And we did get approval from Sammy on all these items. The trails associated with the park will have public access. We have about 30 extra parking spaces in this development, which are part of a portion of them in parking lot that is set outside the gate area, so it is open to the public. Those will be provided. We will do an easement over those areas to meet all the density bonus point calculations for that. There's a concern about the fire truck radius here. We run an auto turn analysis on all of our fire trucks here, primarily because typically Sammy asked for it, so I can provide this if you guys want it. I did bring it with me today if you wanted to review that. The traffic impact analysis was done by Joe Poole on this project, and I feel like it was pretty thorough. There were really no comments on his traffic impact analysis. He did show that it met concurrency. Joe did analyze the left turn lane at the intersection of 98 and 331, which does not need to be extended. He also did a right turn lane analysis that showed that is warranted and that is part of our plan entering into the property. There will not be a PUD overlay applied to this. It's not necessary because we do have 2 different zoning districts. The VMU portion is just the access road coming into the property, and we don't have to transfer any density from that, or uses. The next question was regarding will the amenities be open to the public? Again, all the amenities associated with density bonus points, the trails, the benches, the viewing portions, things like that will be open to the public. They do connect through to the existing public trail that's on the west side of the property that runs down to the county public park in that location. Our density bonus point calculations, we provided those calculations in our submittal initially. We did 3 additional things in this project. One was to provide additional Stormwater management in excess of the requirement, and we get density bonus points for that. The second was to provide additional buffering from the existing wetland areas on the site. And then the third was to provide the public access benches and viewing areas along the walkway there. And then there was a question regarding the floodplain management that was done. Our development is actually laid out. We do have an unnumbered A zone that encompasses 2 kind of existing catfish ponds and some wetlands to the north. We do not have any proposed buildings or improvements within those areas. We are enlarging those ponds, so we actually have a net cut in the floodplain, so we're providing actually excess floodplain storage in that area and not fill in those areas. So we do have an excess cut. And I think that kind of was addressed those, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
I think you've answered my questions with this review. Else have any other questions?
One question in here, Mr. Chairman. Is there a meeting opening?
There's not,
Okay,
no.
so
there's
it'll be
not.
only right in, right out?
Yes, sir, it'll be
Okay.
right in, right out only. There's one right south of there that doesn't go anywhere, so maybe
There'll
they'll
be
move
a
it one day.
U-turn from-
Maybe they'll move it one day.
I don't have any other questions. There are no other questions from TRC. We'll take just a moment to invite any technical questions from any member of our audience this morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Barber.
Good morning, Barbara Morano, South Walton Community Council. I want to compliment the staff, the planning staff, and I want to compliment the atmosphere that is here. When I walked in, I really saw friends, and it's very different from some of the other commission meetings I've attended. So I just want to say thank you for that, because you're right, there are many times we don't disagree, and many times I'm standing at this podium disagreeing, but in the end, we all walked in with smiles. There's just no explanation for it. It's just all positive. I want to thank the engineer from Jenkins Engineering. Sir, can you tell me your name again?
Scott Jenkins?
You're the man. All right. Well, I worked with Jamie, so.
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll talk later on Circle K. All right. Nice to meet Scott, finally, and I appreciate that you went through all those questions, because those are the comments that I said. I believe there'll probably be a Proposition Fair Share quote with money as far as the traffic goes. There's no need for that. Can I ask why?
Because there's no this doesn't impact a deficient segment of the roadway.
Because it's set back a little bit more? Is that why, or?
No, there's just capacity on those
Oh, the
segments.
capacity. All right.
Capacity on those segments that
All
this
right.
project impacts.
Fine, I understand that, thank you. And then the second, just a small comment, it said a small apartment building, and I noticed in the staff report, we really don't have an explanation or of what small is, so I just thought that we could just keep that in mind. You know, that's a little vague sometimes.
We did go through an analysis of what small means in Walton County. We have a very large multifamily development going up at Sandestin. And if you look at industry standards, low rise, which walk up kind of apartments in this garden style are the kinds that are nationally considered by the industry to be small apartment
Okay.
buildings.
All right, that's fine, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Steve Young, Y-O-U-N-G, and just a couple of questions. One is, did Dewberry perform the certified review of this project, or is this DRMP?
This was a Dewberry review.
This is a Dewberry review? Okay. So you'll use that review as kind of the justification, make sure that's the PE review you use to base your decision
Yes,
on?
sir. They are the contract engineering project review team for this particular application.
Yeah, okay, thanks. The couple of questions then on the on stormwater, for you, Scott. Did you use Lidar to calculate the compensating storage?
We use the USGS
Yes.
and we also had a FEMA study that was done on a fairly close adjacent project, so we knew what the base flood of that was. We used that as the head water condition that we were connecting to. We basically used that along with field survey, some LiDAR, and USGS.
Yeah, we need you to come to the microphone so the record can hear that.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, it's kind of croaky. Yes, we did use a combination of LiDAR, we used USGS data, we used existing survey data since we've done several other projects in the area, so.
All right. Thank you. And then so it does meet the 1-for-1 criteria, right? You did that's the thing,
Yeah.
did you do, I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir, we actually, our development doesn't have any buildings or things like that within the floodplain. It's really just 2 wet ponds that we're increasing the size of. So we really have a net cut from the site. So we don't have an additional fill within the floodplain area. We actually are making it bigger and giving more flood storage.
Thanks. The second question is with your retention pond, did you use the geotechnical report for the season high water table, and were the cores taken below the pond as opposed to someplace else on the property?
I need to put a microphone over here. Yes, we use geotechnical that's just adjacent to the pond in the bank areas as close as we can get. They don't do them in the water, obviously, because it'd be kind of hard to get a reading. But we do use the geotech data there to establish seasonal high for that area, yes.
So you didn't take recordings, though, below where your proposed pond is going to be, because I assume they're dry pond and you have to, or they're
No,
wet
so they're
ponds?
wet ponds.
So then so you have,
We established the normal water level of the wet pond based on the seasonal high minus 1 foot, which is Water Management District standard for that kind of design. So we didn't do permeabilities and things like that because we don't really calculate that in a wet pond design.
all right. Thank you. All right, that's it for me.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else have a technical question about compliance for this application? Seeing none, do we have a recommended motion?
Yes, staff would recommend moving the project forward to Planning Commission upon the applicant successfully addressing any outstanding comments, as well as those comments that would come in from engineering.
Thank you, sir. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Motion approved, and this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the next review step of the Planning Commission. Thank you, Scott. Next item is number 14, Encore 331, also reviewed by Stephen Sean. Stephen, if you could come in for us.
Yes, sir. Encore at 331 is a request to approve by final order. Project number MAJ 22-000011 is a major development order application submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering on behalf of Gray Cliff Capital Partners, requesting to develop 258 apartments with 20% income restricted units, amenity area, and infrastructure on 22.76 plus or minus acres, with a future land use of commercial and a zoning district of general commercial. The property is located in District 1 and can be identified by the parcel ID in your staff report. If I could please have the staff report entered into the record, as well as you should have two separate updated engineering, public works comments relating to the project as well, if I could have those entered into the record too.
So entered, thank you.
Thank you. In speaking with the applicant, there does not appear to be any real concern about addressing comments. Unfortunately, staff has not received an updated or a resubmittal, excuse me. So there are still many outstanding comments. Some of them are simply just clarification matters, but I'll leave it up to the agent to discuss any of the comments that they need assistance with. But if you have any questions for me, I can answer them. If not, I'll turn it over.
Any other questions for Stephen? Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Applicant?
Morning, Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, 17800 Panama City Beach Parkway. We have addressed all the planning comments. We've been, as we stood here before you a couple of weeks ago, almost begging for the engineering comments. We received those yesterday afternoon. There were only 2 comments. One had to do with an easement for Chelco. It needs to be abandoned, which we're aware of because there's an existing home there. And the other comment had to do with potentially blocking some off-site drainage. We've addressed those comments, or today we've addressed that, adding a couple of pipes. So we'll have everything resubmitted today, addressing all planning comments, engineering comments. There were no traffic comments. So in our opinion, we'll have everything addressed today.
Thank you, sir. We also note that this project's been reviewed by Walton County Public Works as the project review team, and it meets transportation concurrency in this location. Thank you, sir. We'll take just a moment to invite any technical questions or comments about this particular application. Anyone in our audience today have a technical question about this particular application? Seeing none, Stephen will entertain and recommend a motion.
Yes, staff would recommend, based on the fact that this does have some affordable housing component, and in light of the conversations with the agent indicating they don't have any issues satisfying or already have satisfied, staff would recommend conditional approval to go to Planning Commission upon successful resubmittal addressing all outstanding comments.
Thank you, sir. Would note our comprehensive plan and our local housing assistance plan both encourage expediting affordable housing applications, and this meets that requirement. So thank you, sir. We'll entertain a motion as recommended. Do we have a motion at the dais?
Motion is stated.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to the next review step at Planning Commission. And that will move us to number 15, the Coastal Grove Phase 2 replat, reviewed by Bob Baranti. Bob, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is PLA 22-000010. This is a plat application consistent with the previously approved DO, LTM 21-000053, and is submitted by Baker Engineers on behalf of Virginia Wentworth LLC, requesting to plat 4 family lots on .31 plus or minus acres with future land use of mixed use in the zoning district of village mixed use. The property is located in District 5, and the parcel numbers are located in your staff report. Mr. Chair, this application has a lot of outstanding comments, including the articles of incorporation. Staff did complete the staff report, but staff feels that this needs to be continued to the next TRC to get the articles of incorporation in, and I don't believe the applicant is here today.
Thank you.
Oh, I guess, I'm sorry, he is here today, so I'll turn it over to the applicant.
Okay.
Olin Becker, Becker Engineers. Yes, we've received the comments. All the technical comments were mainly typo errors and direction on the survey, and some floodplain, they labeled a floodplain thing wrong, but anyway, it's mostly topographical type stuff that I'll have that mid next week. HOA docs are working on those, have those shortly, so I would request that we move this forward, and with a condition that we provide the HAO documents for your review prior to, for the staff's review prior to the next meeting.
Typically, we try to get the survey right on the preliminary plat, the application right at the preliminary plat stage. And that's where we still are on this one. How about we continue this for 2 weeks and see where we are?
Okay.
That would be my recommendation. And that's consistent with what we've done on others.
Understood. Okay.
And once we get it right here, it goes straight to BCC. So we absolutely want to get it platted as soon as possible, because that's what the application's for.
Understood.
So we'll entertain a motion to continue this to the very next TRC meeting. How close we can get in the meantime.
So move.
Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to continue this to the June 1st TRC meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, we're continued to the June 1st TRC meeting. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
That moves us to number 16, the Origins Food Truck. This minor development is reviewed by Renee Bradley. Renee, if you can introduce it for us.
Yes, sir. This is minor 22000028. This application's been submitted by McNeil Carroll Engineering on behalf of Watersound Town Center. They're requesting to add 2 food trucks on 55.12 plus or minus acres with a future land use of Bay Walton Sector Plan Town Center and zoning district Bay Walton Plan Town Center. The property is located in District 5 and can be identified by the parcel ID number in your packet. There's only planning comments, and they're very minor on this project. The reason that we required this to be a minor development is because they would like for the trucks to stay there permanently. As far as on Saturdays, they didn't want to limit it to a temporary time period. And I'd be glad to answer any questions for the committee. I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
Thank you, and so entered. How far off of US 98 is this?
Well over 400 feet. I had them mark it on the site plan.
Oh, I see it. Thank you. That was my question. Thank you, ma'am. Comments from the applicant or questions from the applicant?
We're here to answer any questions. We have not seen the staff report until just now. It is to basically park the food trucks on a Saturday while there's events going on at the farmer's market. Then they leave. There's no overnight parking. It is just temporary parking. Take up a couple of parking spaces.
Thank you, sir. Unless anyone else has any questions for applicant. We'll take the opportunity to invite any technical comments from any member of our audience. Anyone wishing to ask a question or make a technical comment on this particular application? Blonde, it's your chance, man. Okay. Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion. I recommend a motion.
Recommend that we move this forward to the development order, sir, once all comments have been satisfied.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Robert. Moving to number 17, we have a request to continue this item to June 1st, or that was our previous request, but I think that got, we're still going to continue? Okay. We have a recommended motion to continue to June 1st. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 1st, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. That moves us to number 18, the Pearl Place subdivision. This is a minor development application reviewed by Rosanna Edwards. Rosanna, if you could introduce it for us.
Good morning. This is Pearl Place subdivision. It's project number MIN 22-000030. This is a minor development application submitted by Anderson Engineering on behalf of Seacroft Holdings LLC, requesting to develop 8 single-family lots and associated infrastructure on 2.52 plus or minus acres with a future land use of residential in a zoning district of neighborhood infill. The property is in District 5 and located at the intersection of South County Highway 393 and Seacroft Drive, approximately 0.28 miles south on Seacroft Drive, and identified by the parcel number in your staff report. And if you would, please enter the staff report into the record.
All right, so enter.
We do have some outstanding comments from Public Works, Engineering, Floodplain, Environmental, GIS, and some planning comments. I would like to also add the applicant did hold a community meeting March 21st, 2022. And also would like to note for the record that these are proposed short-term rentals. They are 12 bedrooms. And also, I did discuss with the applicant some of the changes regarding the short-term rentals, specifically the parking. Right now, the applicant is providing the maximum number of parking spaces per short-term rental, 4 or more bedrooms in the code currently. But I can let the applicant elaborate on that. Any questions for me?
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you apprising them of the coming change to the land development code.
Brian Osborne with Anderson Engineering. Yeah, we've reviewed the comments, and they're mostly pretty minor stuff. We do have some stormwater stuff to clean up. We'll move all the stormwater internally to the probably most likely the streets, some landscaping stuff to clean up, and some pick some different street names. The parking, we are providing, we do have a space for more parking than what, we're showing the minimum parking, but we do have area for more parking. We've identified a couple other areas that we can modify those ends of the streets to where we can provide more parking to match the new the new code, if that's what the county wants to see.
It's up to you and your applicant as to whether or not you want to design according to what the law is going to be, and that's already moving through the process. There's no grandfathering in this. I would advise you to look at what that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's our intent to meet that requirement.
And it looks problematic to me at first glance.
Like I said, we've taken a look at it, and we've identified some areas that we can change to provide more parking.
May want to consider smaller units.
And we'll talk to the client about that as well.
Just want you to know what you're getting into.
Understood. We've had a lot of discussions with staff about it, so I understand it.
Because I have great concerns about this one. We'll see how you respond to comments.
Sure.
Did you have any other questions about any of the particular comments, or?
No, I think everything's pretty straightforward. I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Do we have any technical questions or comments from any member of our audience this morning? Yes, ma'am.
I couldn't believe when I read 15 bedrooms. I had a look at, for 12 bedrooms, and I think they even did a compatibility study. That's not true. There is nothing in that neighborhood. I don't believe the neighbors really understood. They had a neighborhood meeting. I don't want to go out and ring bells, but I certainly would if that would help not getting this approved. And Mr. Carpenter, can you clarify me when you said this would not be grandfathered in? So what could happen if they decide to go ahead with this greedy type of a development?
The proposed ordinance provides.
So in other words, they would have to reconstruct.
Well, I'm not exactly sure because I haven't looked at this one in the detail that I'm about to.
Is there a possibility that this would not be approved today? 'Cause
No, ma'am. There is no reason to deny the application without giving the applicant due process and an opportunity to respond to comments. We do, I think, have a limitation of about 5 continuances. But this is a forum where we provide an opportunity for the public to make applications for things that are allowable under the code. And if they don't completely comply with that, they have the opportunity to revise their application so that it does comply. I think we've made some pretty large suggestions here that we're not in compliance yet, but they do have the due process right to go back and redesign or adequately respond to the comments otherwise. I mean, that's their due process.
Does the neighborhood have a chance to go to ZBA on this?
To ZBA.
Is that the zoning board of
Well, I
adjustments?
mean, every administrative action by the county has an appeal period, where it can be appealed to the Board of Adjustments. That can't happen until we make a decision, and we won't make a decision on this one for maybe some time yet.
Okay, I understand. Thank
But
you.
once the decision has been made, yes, ma'am, that is appealable.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I just want to register the South Walton Community Council is definitely concerned about a 12-bedroom home. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to ask a technical question about this particular application? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to continue this one.
I think 2 weeks, if we could continue to the June 1st TRC, would be my recommendation.
We'll accept that recommendation. I'm not sure if that's enough, but all right. But what does the applicant think?
There are engineering comments, and
I saw a number of stormwater comments.
that was reviewed by Public Works, so that would be.
May need more than 2 weeks. But that's, what would you like? Yeah, you might need more than that. Let's continue this one to the following TRC meeting, which would be the June
15th.
Because, I mean, I also have great concerns about this particular application. We'll entertain a motion to continue this item to the June 15th, 2022 TRC meeting. Can we have a motion at the dais?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15th, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. Thanks, sir. We'll move to the next item, the Canopies Major Development, reviewed by Stephen Shawn. Stephen, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes. The Canopies is a request to approve by final order, project number MAJ 22-000014 is a major development order application submitted by Anderson Engineering on behalf of Sowall TH LLC. They're requesting to develop 30 single-family homes and 50 townhomes on 20 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use in the zoning district of Town Center 1. The property is located in District 5 and can be identified by the by the parcel IDs in your staff report. If I could have that report entered into the record, please. Thank you. There are a number of outstanding comments. Staff has not had the opportunity to discuss any of them with the agent, but if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them now. If not, I will turn it over to the agent.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question about the stormwater, which I think I note that they recommend a 100-year storm as opposed to the 25. Which in this location is probably a really good idea. Thanks, Stephen. We'll hear from the applicant.
Yeah, the stormwater was something that we did have a question about. It mentioned a closed basin for that area. I mean, we couldn't identify that and didn't identify that, so we can work with I think that came from Public Works. We can work with them to work that out. I think our ponds are pretty good sized at the moment, so we may be able to incorporate that, but we would like some feedback on that requirement.
I think Greg Graham did that review.
Yeah, he did. But other than that, I don't think that's a difficult task. I would like to get Max, some of your input on some of the Newtown master plan items that you guys would like to see. I know that's something that you guys like to have some input on. So if you have some input on some additional items that you'd like to see incorporated into that.
Well, given the number of comments, we probably ought to have a separate meeting. I don't think we have time to get into this level of detail about project design in the town center at this meeting this morning.
Sure.
That's probably best had in a separate project-specific meeting. I would be happy to do that.
Perfect. We'll get in touch with you to reschedule
Get
that.
with Stephen and make that arrangement. We'd be happy to do that.
Perfect. Yeah, other than that, we've talked with Public Works about the fire turnaround at the end. We are phasing this, so, and then I know the county's planning on improving Old Blue Mountain Road, so it'll just be a matter of the timing of that. If it doesn't work out, then we'll just, we'll pave a hammerhead at the end of that and give them the turnaround that they need. And then we'll also work with staff on the compensatory storage calcs. Those were on the plans. We'll make sure that that's clearly pointed out and that with the reviewer and make sure they're in agreement.
Yeah, I think there was the parking comment number 8. Pay some attention to that one too.
Yep, absolutely.
Do we have any other questions for the applicant? This one probably needs about a 30-day continuance, it looks like. It gives a chance to have a meeting to talk about the town center requirements and that design, and to give the applicant an opportunity to address the comments. Do you think that'll give you enough time? So we will entertain a motion to continue this item to the June 15th TRC meeting. Could we have a motion at the dais?
So, second.
Sure, if you'd like to. I mean, we're continuing it, but you're happy to. I think it's kind of early, but we'll take your comments. Yes, sir. Sure.
I think it is the thing to continue it. Steve Young, Y-O-U-N-G. My question is, once again, did Dewberry perform the storm, or the review, the PE review of this one? No?
Is this one done by Public Works? I think it was. Let me look over here and see. Greg Graham, the county engineer.
All right. I think it'd be a good idea to have DRMP, since there are stormwater issues and we're making, a bunch of changes.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we have that?
Greg Graham is our county engineer.
Is that county engineer, but a third, okay.
They used to do all of our reviews, and if they had time, they would still do all of our reviews. And I appreciate your confidence in John here.
Thank you.
He's late to this particular party. We
Okay.
have a number of these that are being reviewed internally by Greg Graham for Public Works.
All right.
And I have the absolute utmost confidence in his skills and abilities.
I know.
He is our county
Yeah,
engineer.
no, that's great. Yeah, when I see the compensating storage, and I'm sure he will do a great job, and I appreciate you answering my question.
He was the architect of the language we have in the code now.
Okay, very good.
Plus, it's gonna cost the applicant money. We don't want that.
Anyone else have a question or comment about this particular item? We did not vote yet. We have a recommended motion at the dais, and a motion and a second, I believe. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15th TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And that moves us to number 20, Dad's Inlet Subdivision, a minor development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could briefly introduce it for us.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. This is a minor development order application submitted by Anderson Engineering requesting approval to develop 15 detached townhomes and associated infrastructure on 1.911 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of village mixed use. Property is located in District 5 on the south side of Highway 98 in Inlet Beach. There are a number of outstanding planning comments, fire, engineering, environmental, and GIS, as well as a number of scenic corridor comments. And there's also some architectural requirements from the Inlet Beach neighborhood plan that have not been addressed. Did not receive any comments from the health department or from the school district. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll either take questions or turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you, Tim. Do we have any questions? Man, we got a pretty detailed staff report with lots of comments. Do we have any specific questions from any TRC member for Tim? Thanks, sir. We'll hear from the applicant.
Yeah, I don't think the comments were, the comments are going to require this to get just a little bit smaller. The main comments were the 20-foot rear setback that will be subject to. So we'll have to tighten things up a little bit, and those units I'm sure will get a little bit smaller. And then as far as we did talk to Sammy, or the developer of this does own some lots on Eagles Landing, so we talked to him about punching a temporary or a fire access through that. We'll either do that to address that comment, or we'll lose a unit to create a turnaround for the fire trucks. Then, yeah, we've got to address some landscaping comments. And then, again, we had that 100-year stormwater requirement on this one as well. So we'll work through that with Greg and make sure that we address that.
Thank you, sir. But there are a number of outstanding comments. The one good news for your applicant is this project appears to meet concurrency. This segment of Highway 98 is not currently deficient. How long do you think you will need? June 15?
How long it'll take to, on your layout?
Hi, I'm Doug Patton.
Good morning.
Good morning. It all depends on a couple of questions I wanted to ask in regards to the site plan that is presented. As you all notice, it's on a triangular shaped piece of property. So when we originally laid it out, we laid it out with determining the rear setback was hard to do, so we questioned that, and the answer we got at the time, of which may not be official, was the fact that it would be measured radial from the corner of the back. You see where the corner comes together in the back. If you have a radial rear setback from that point, then this site plan works a lot differently. If we choose which one of these lines is a rear line, because we're not going to measure it from the radial corner, then it's a coin toss of which one's going to be the rear setback, almost. Logically, it would be on the southern property line if you're going to do that, but there's just as much as an argument for the western line. So once that's determined, then I've already done a revised plan that would meet the requirement of the rear setback being on the southern line, of which would solve the fire access problems. It would not require me to come through the adjacent subdivision, Eagles Landing, with the road at fire access, but it would lose 2 units in this development. So it's a fairly significant decision.
Here's my first glance. There are too many units on this site.
Right. Well, the revised site plan that I've looked at now does remove 2. It would be 13 that we would be resubmitting.
That was my first impression when Tim showed me the site plan. Mm-hmm. Too many units on too small a piece of land.
It qualifies for it, but you are correct, where you are putting a size 10 foot and a size 9 shoe.
Yeah, this one is gonna need some redesign. I mean, if you're gonna meet 100-year storm requirement.
Mm-hmm. We can do that with our underground.
It's gonna be a fairly significant item also.
Yeah, we're doing all underground storage. So
20 foot here, fire access here. This has been pulled up.
I guess clarification on what the rear setback would be. Would that be the southern? Is that?
We're not going to make that determination at this meeting this morning. We got to look at that given the irregular shape of this particular lot. Because whatever we determine, we'll have to determine the same way for anyone else's similarly.
Right, right.
Want to measure that decision. So we're going to need to continue at least to the next meeting. And we'll get you an answer on that this week.
Not here on June 1st, so we'll have to continue to at least the June
15th. That's fine.
Then we'll entertain a motion to June 15th. I would recommend having a project-specific meeting with staff, probably pretty soon this week, maybe.
Well, yeah, after I got the comments, I did a redesign of that it's not a overhaul of the whole site. It's just shifting the things around and reducing it by 2 lots, which does make a significant difference to the comments.
And let's make sure we pay very close attention to the Inlet Beach Neighborhood Plan and those requirements in there, which are applicable to this particular site. Because that's very important to the neighborhood. We'll take just a moment to invite any technical questions or from any member of our audience. Anyone have one this morning? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion to continue to June 15. Can we have a motion at the dais? Move. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location.
Thank you.
Sir. Moving to number 21, the Circle K at 393 and 98, we have a request to continue this item to the June 15, 2022 meeting. We did meet with this particular applicant and earlier this week and advised that a single-use project could not contain a general commercial use in this particular zoning district. And therefore, they are going to revise their application to propose a mixed-use project that does not count on the less than 3-acre single-use component of that particular zoning district's regulations. And we'll see where we are by June 15. Can we have a motion at the dais to continue this item to June 15? Sure.
Thank you, Mac. This was the one item I purposely came for today. Definitely, I appreciate continuing this. I had a minute to speak with Scott, and I asked him, is this a lot split or a lot shift? He told me it was a lot split, and that's what he told me. And he said, I said, why wasn't it stopped at the pre-application process? And he said he thought it would be, but it just continued to go on. So now he has to go back. I asked him to stay, but he seems like they have to go back and either join these two properties or do something else. So I don't even...
A development site can contain more than one parcel. And in this particular case, in order for them to do the use that they're proposing, it's going to have to contain the other parcel that may have been divided or had a lot line shift. That's not material for this particular application because they can't do what was being proposed.
Correct.
Counting on that.
And quite honestly, if I really didn't dig deep into this, I don't know if I just have my concerns of why this wasn't stopped. And I'm talking about the process. I'm not out to do anything else but to say the process. In the pre-application meeting, and Mac, you have always shared that there are hundreds of projects that never go forward for a lot of reasons. Why wasn't this one stopped? I mean, look at all the work that went into this, not only by the county, but by the engineer.
I appreciate this, but when you hire an engineer, you depend on their knowledge of the code. And if they propose something that is not feasible, even though it's legal.
And it's not legal.
The subdivision of the lot was perfectly legal.
It's 2.
And if they want to do a neighborhood commercial use on this 3-acre parcel, they can absolutely do that.
But they didn't. They asked for a commercial use.
That wasn't part of the application for the lot split or lot line shift.
It was part of the application going forward for this particular item. And in fact, it wasn't even said that.
The comments say that it's not eligible.
When did the comments say it wasn't eligible?
I think the first review of the submittal.
But it went, look how far it went. I mean, it went all across this board. It went to Jenkins. It got here. And I think it should have been stopped at the pre-application. I mean, it's a process problem. Truly is. And I think that
Barbara, can I
Wait, yes.
explain something to you?
Okay, I'm going to try to listen.
In the pre-application process, we explain what the submittal requirements are for a particular proposed use. Now, should this have been pointed out? Probably, but it may have been, it may not have been.
Okay.
Given the volume of work we've got right now, there may not have been a connection to the proposed project and the proposed lot split. Different people review those because they're different processes. But we have circumstances all the time where we tell an applicant something in the pre-app, and the applicant, based on the client's desire, chooses to do something different.
And if I may, Mr. Chair, some of this lot split happens before they even county know what they're gonna go on it. You know, they do the lot split and then they come up with a proposal. That's, I think, situation was for the county probably when they brought the first submittal for review, they realized it doesn't meet or it cannot be done. I think, so some of the platting happens way before it even comes to the review.
Okay. I mean, we all were not there at the pre-application process, so we don't know what conversation went through. But the actual developmental order that would have been minor, which is concerning to me, it could have been approved, was 2.99 acres. So from my perspective, I'm glad it was below 3 acres. I certainly don't want a third gas station on that corner. I don't think anyone does. But I know that's not the issue, because if it was supposed to be commercial, that's the way it is. But I gave my 2 cents to Scott and told him it's not good. I'm happy we've reached this point. It took effort personally on my part to be here today, to make sure that I knew what I was talking about. And I'm just glad it reached this point. I don't think he'll be able to do something between now and the next day. As I said, they'd have to join the lot together to put
They
that
would.
gas station there.
They don't have to do that. They just have to include it in the site plan. They don't have
But it's a split lot. It's 2 different lots.
It is very common for people to assemble parcels into one development site,
Okay.
provided they're all common ownership or the owners are part of the commonality of the applicant. That is very normal and very common. In fact, all large development sites have multiple parcels.
Okay. So in other words, if they come back and join the 2 parcels, you'd have to look at the whole enchilada.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And that's what we told them. We
All
cannot
right.
look at this proposed use without a larger site and the combination of uses that are required in VMU.
So there should be a residential component to that, which
And
is,
I think they're proposing a residential component.
okay. All right. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We had a recommended motion to continue this to June 15. Do we have a motion of the dais?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is continued to the June 15, 2022 TRC meeting at 8:30 a.m. in this location. And now, item number 22, Paradise by the Sea entrance, minor development reviewed by Tim Brown. Tim, if you could introduce it for us.
Yes, thank you. There is an error in the blurb in terms of the location. This is a minor development or application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates requesting approval to realign the entrance road, relocate the existing gate, add a guard shack, add a mail kiosk, add additional paving, add an additional gate, add landscaping, and add a monument sign on 0.78 acres with the future land use of residential and a zoning of residential preservation. Property is located in District 5 at the intersection of County Road 30A and Paradise by the Sea Boulevard, not US Highway 98. There's outstanding comments from planning, engineering, environmental, and there's also some outstanding scenic corridor comments. With that, I'd like to, I'm sorry, this is in 38, not scenic corridor. Those are the outstanding comments. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, and I'll turn it over to the applicant if there's no questions.
So entered with the noted corrections. Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any questions for Tim at the moment? Seeing none, we'll hear from the applicant.
Good morning, Dean Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. We've read through the staff comments. They appear relatively simple in nature. We can respond to them promptly. I don't see anything that's problematic that would require a site plan revision or stormwater change or anything of that sort. Most of them are clarification comments. We feel we can respond to these and hopefully be moved ahead to development order issuance upon satisfaction of the comments.
The environmental comments about 30A.
Were they preservation comments?
Include the 20-foot landscape buffer on the site plan.
Sure, we can do that. This is an existing entrance to an existing subdivision.
But we're modifying it, and we need to modify it in compliance with current 30A scenic corridor guidelines.
All right.
However that applies to this project, if you could take a look at that. I think that was the gist of Haley's environmental comment. I don't think
All right.
it's all landscaping related, not actual site design.
Right. And we'll have to take a look and see if that buffer's intact. If not, we may have to do some native plantings.
But I would agree, most of these are very minor in nature. If you have no other questions, we'll take a moment to invite any questions from our public.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience have a technical question about this particular application this morning? Seeing none, Tim will entertain a motion.
Yes, recommend approval of the project contingent on responding to all the comments and move forward to the development order.
Thank you, sir. We have a recommended motion. Do we have a motion at the dais? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? Hearing none, this item is conditionally approved to move forward to development order subject to satisfaction of any outstanding comments. And I think this concludes our agenda for this morning. Thank everybody for coming and being interested in what the county's doing today. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion and a
Second.
second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.